What's up, guys? It is that guy Jordan back again with another video. Before we get started, I do want to let you guys know that someone has been stealing my stories and someone has been selling my book as their own. I don't know who it is. I don't have any leads yet, but that's where I hope some of you guys can come in and tell me, like, hey, if you guys can inbox me or anything, tell me if you know anything or anyone that has been doing that. Especially the young ladies, because there has been a couple ladies in my very city that I've tried to tried to talk to, try to jazz them up with my stories because I want to sell my book, and they've heard my stories, even read my book when I've never sold to them or even showed them my stories before. And so finding out that someone's been stealing my stories and everything like that is kind of a piss off, and it's costing me money, and that's bad for business. So I need to figure out who it is so I can report them to the proper authorities or beat their ass myself, whichever one comes first, whichever one I feel like. All depends. But if you guys can let me know on that, hit me up. That would be greatly appreciated. On top of that, so today's topic, I'm going to be answering a question from one of my followers who wanted to see this video, and I want to thank her for that. I won't speak her name and everything because she didn't give me that permission, but thank you, because this question does need to be asked. So the question that she posed to me was, when you're with somebody and you're in like a brand new relationship, we'll say about 2.5 months, and you start seeing these toxic traits come out from a person, and the toxic traits that you've probably already spoken about, some things that you're seeing are just things that you don't want, that you're not interested in because you've had that before or whatever. And what do you do? What do you do in that situation? And so the answers were, do you talk to the other person? Do you run and leave immediately, or do you do both? And the honest answer to that situation, ladies and gentlemen, is before we can answer that question, we have to answer something in ourselves. There are certain red flags that we will not tolerate. Okay, hold on. There are certain red flags that certain people will not tolerate, such as myself. For myself, I'll use myself as an example. I will not tolerate lying. I will not tolerate cheating. I won't tolerate any indiscretion and stuff like that. Those to some people to some people those are minimum problems. Like, certain people will literally like forgive somebody for cheating on them or for lying to them and everything. To me, right then and there, if you tell me a little white lie or something like that, I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to instantly distrust you. I'm not going to leave just yet. I'm going to let you prove yourself, but at the same time, you've lost my trust, even over a little white lie. And you're probably like, people are like, but it's a little white lie. A little white lie hurts. Little white lies lead into bigger lies, and then more complicated lies, and then everything goes to shit because you can't keep up with the lies that you tell and everything. Trust me, folks, it is not the best way to go out. Tell the truth. Tell the truth, and So that's what irritates me in a new relationship, when someone lies about something. Like, like an example is that, like, when I'm talking to a female and she lies to me about, like, simple stuff, like, like, to me simple stuff is like, hey, what you gonna do today or whatever, and she's like, oh, nothing, chilling and everything, and then you look on like a social media site like Facebook and Snapchat, because everyone's business is always there, and people see the weirdest thing about people is that they'll tell you one thing, but then go and do another, and then record them doing that other thing, and then you catch them in the act, and you're like, oh, well, they try to make up some type of excuse, and they can't. So in those situations, those are big red flags to me in the first place. But I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them about those red flags. But when I do speak to you about these red flags, you get one chance. You get one shot. You get one last strike to make it right, to where the other strikes go away later on down the line. But, ladies and gentlemen, if those people push those buttons and push their luck with those strikes, then yes, you have by all means every right to leave, because you don't need to tolerate that. You already set the expectations to where it's like, this is what I want, this is what I expect, and I want, and if I want you in my life, I want you to hit these expectations. And for me, it's pretty simple. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't do dumb shit in my relationship. Don't call me if you're going to be out late, or tell me where you're going to be when you go out, so I know you're going to be safe and who you're with and everything, so just in case something does happen and everything, I know who to call. I know, like, yo, what's going on, is she okay, stuff like that. Like, people, reassurance is always communication, reassurance, all that stuff is always great in a relationship. And those red flags that come up is where you start lying about where you are, you're lying about who you're texting, all that stuff. Those are red flags. And so if you gotta lie, if you gotta do all that stuff, then yes, you don't deserve my explanation of why the fuck I'm dipping. You lied, you cheated, you did something. And that's just me. That is me personally saying that, like, those are my red flags. Everybody else has different red flags. But to answer the overall question, when those red flags begin creeping up and everything, communication is always key. See if you can communicate with that person into, like, hey, this doesn't feel right to me. This doesn't make me feel comfortable. And see if they care enough for you to change their ways. Because if they don't, if they still want to do the same old things and everything, but then claim to love you, remember, that is not true. So, in that sense, then it's time to leave. Find somebody else at that point. Usually my videos are a little bit longer, but today I'm really actually like trying to get back to my like writing and everything. So I got 2 books coming out, and that's actually really stressful work and everything. But you know, I love seeing you guys. Like, I love the feedback that I do receive for my books and everything. I just wish that those people that bought my books that were not my personal customers could understand, like, it's kind of a hurtful thing because, like, I didn't get that profit. But I will personally, when I find this person, I'm going to shut them down, so that way you guys can actually enjoy my work and see what Jordan's all about. So I thank you guys for listening. You guys have a wonderful day. And remember, stay safe out there. I'm that guy, Jordan. Have a good night.